Wouldn't you like to grow fresh corn right out of your garden? Run out to the garden, pick your corn, shuck it out there, run it back into your kitchen where you've got a big pot of boiling water waiting for that corn. And in 10 to 12 minutes, it's like no corn you've ever had before. I'm going to show you how to get your corn off to a great start.
All I have needs, I have not provided.
Corn can be a bit of a challenge, but the first thing you got to know is they love nitrogen. So prepare your beds the way you normally would and then add some extra nitrogen, or start out with some fertilizer that's got more nitrogen than it does phosphorus and potassium. And hopefully you've got all those other micronutrients in your fertilizer as well. What I did to facilitate putting more nitrogen in is I spread sheep manure right on top of the beds before I even planted the seeds. The next thing you need to know is corn takes up a lot of space. Yes, I know, I've seen the YouTubers out there that have successfully grown a lot of corn in a smaller space, but that just doesn't work for me in my garden. There again, you need to know your soil and you need to know how much nitrogen you need to grow it successfully. I plant mine 12 inches apart. I always have. That's what the old farmers did. That's how I learned to do it. I've tried to go smaller. I've even tried 8 inches apart. And you know what happens when they get too crowded and there's not enough nutrients? They grow plants, but not corn. So, 12 inches apart. The reason I don't have the seedlings come up through the tree mulch is because they're hard. And these tender little seedlings coming up through, they tear their leaves and then they die. Trust me, I know, I've tried it. So now, even though I do use mulch throughout my garden, and that includes oak leaves, not just tree chips, I rake back the leaves, and then as the plants get tall enough, I will mulch them. But I don't mulch my corn. I only mulch the pathways between my corn. And the reason why is sand gets packed down pretty hard, even if there's mulch on top of it. It doesn't matter if it's tree chips or oak leaves, it still will pack down pretty hard. And as the corn is growing taller, it does like to have the topsoil aerated, not too deep. You don't want to disturb all the roots, but it does like just that top part here kicked up around the base of the stalk. I do plant my corn 12 inches apart, but yet you see, I've got two coming up out of the same spot. The reason I do that is just to make sure that every single space has a good stalk of corn coming up. For some reason, you can have two stalks of corn coming up and one dies. Maybe an insect got to it, maybe for some reason the water didn't hit it just right, or maybe it's just one bad seed next to a good seed. So I plant two, and yeah, it's going to cost a little bit more money, but it's worth it. I want this whole area to be so thick with corn, I could hide in it. So what I do when the corn is getting about 3 to 4 inches tall, I come through with a pair of scissors. Don't pull your corn. Just come through and snip them off. That way you're not disturbing the corn that's right next to it, and you're letting that the roots that have already started to grow, they'll decompose and they'll actually become good food, good fertilizer for the corn that you've left in the ground. Corn needs a lot, a lot, a lot of water, but it doesn't like to be drowned. So sometimes it's so hot here in Central Florida that I have to water my corn every single day. But then the beauty of planting this now in the middle of March, it's usually ready sometime in June. Well, June is when our rains start. So maybe I'll get enough rain at the very end of the development stage where I won't have to water as much. That didn't take long at all. Don't feel sorry for the ones that you've got to cut. If I were to let both of them grow, my soil cannot support two stalks growing up out of the same hole. Trust me, I've tried. And you know what happened? Zero. Neither one of the stalks gave me corn. So now that you've thinned them out, the next thing you got to do is make sure that they're well fed. In my case, I'm going to fertilize them twice a month. Once a month with more sheep fertilizer and possibly fish emulsion, and once a month with what I call weed water. So let me show you my weed water. It's amazing. It's free fertilizer, and if you've never made it, you got to start. It's really, really good for your garden. This is weed water. And the way I got weed water is when I harvested my sweet potatoes last fall, I stuffed this bucket as hard as I could with sweet potato vines. And then I filled it with water and let it steep. Now, you don't do it near your home or anybody else's home because it will smell really bad for the first few weeks. Right now, it just has an earthy smell. So, let's see, November, December, January, February, March, 5 months. This weed water is 5 months old and it just smells earthy. So, you only need 1 cup of this per gallon of water. And this is one of the neatest watering cans I've ever had. It holds 2 gallons. Find it on Amazon. I'll leave a link below. You can easily take the end off, but it doesn't pop off when you don't want it to. And now I'm going to just go down the rows and water with this weed water. You don't have to worry about burning your plants. If you just keep it to that, it's good. It's great. You'll see a difference in your plants right away. Now I call it weed water for a reason. You can do the same thing with weeds. Don't worry if you don't have sweet potato vines. It's anything green from your garden. You can mix in some browns too. I never have. I've always just used whatever green I have. You can use grass, you can use weeds, you can use spent pea vines, green beans, whatever you have. As long as it's green, you just add water to it. So stuff your bucket as full as you can. These are my green onions here. And the rest here is corn. You stuff your buckets as hard as you can and then just add water. Put a lid over the top because you don't want to be breeding mosquitoes. And this is what I'll do in between the times that I feed it either fish emulsion or sheep manure. Now, even though I'm going to be turning the overhead sprinklers on, I have 3. They go in circular patterns and the wind's blowing. So some of these beds just aren't going to get watered by the overhead sprinklers. So you got to watch that pretty careful too. You know, I get it. Sometimes you don't feel like coming back out. But once you come out and relax and just enjoy the weather and how peaceful it is out here, you'll look forward to coming out. And just give it a nice sprinkle. It's a nice place to think about things. Nice place to pray about things. Your beds are ready for your corn before you plant. Make sure you've got the right kind of fertilizer. Don't plant them too close. Thin them out. Keep them watered and fertilize them often. Before you know it, you'll have corn growing here and even taller than you. Thanks for watching. Give it a green thumbs up, and if you found it helpful, why not subscribe? I have over 150 videos now. I think you might find something helpful. so you can be a successful gardener.
Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.